Good afternoon, friends. Good morning, good evening, depending on when you watch this. I I wanna start reading in the power of now to contribute to the discovery of awareness and consciousness. I have not prepared anything. That includes me to some degree. On the outside, on the inside, we'll find out. But I've been inviting people onto Zoom, which I do on Tuesday at 3. It's a you can find the link in the description here too. It is absolutely free. There's nobody asks you for anything, and not your email or not any money. It's free, and I will read the power of now there too, a little bit, and talk about it. Since it is an interactive situation on Zoom, I can answer if the time is allows it. I can answer a question if there is one. Um, a little bit maybe it's good to say about me. I study Eckhart's talks and books, um, not exclusively Eckhart, but I've been with this all my life. I'm studying this since probably 40 years. Um, we have had a reading situation in Sacramento for a little while in an ashram that I joined for a good long while, and that was very well received by most. Anyway, it instead of me just giving a spiritual talk that I give, I figured Eckhart's book, The Power of Now, is so fantastic. I figured it's a good book to read from a little bit, and then maybe say something to an individual section. I'm gonna start, and you see what this is, how this is shaping. I just opened the book, and I'm gonna start reading. It's The Power of Now, page 12. What is the greatest obstacle to experiencing this reality? Identification, this is the question I ask. Identification with your mind, which causes thoughts to become compulsive. Not to be able to stop thinking is a dreadful affliction. But we don't realize this because almost everybody is suffering from it, so it is considered normal. I already would like to say a little bit of something to this reading. I'm gonna go a little further. This incessant mental noise prevents you from finding that realm of inner stillness that is inseparable from being, It also creates a false mind-made self that casts a shadow of fear and suffering. We will look at it all we will look at that all in more detail later. The philosopher Descartes believed that he had found the most fundamental truths when he made this famous statement, I think, therefore I am. He had, in fact, given expression to the most basic error, the to equate thinking with being and identity with thinking. The compulsive thinker, which means almost everyone, lives in a state of apparent separateness in an apparently complex world of continuous problems and conflicts. A word that reflects the even increasing fragmentation of the mind. Enlightenment is a state of wholeness, of being at one and therefore at peace. At one with life in its manifested aspect, the world, as well as with your deepest self, and life unmanifested, at one with being. Enlightenment is not only an end of suffering and a continuous conflict within and without, but also an end of the dreadful enslavement to incessant thinking. What an incredible liberation that is. Paragraph. Maybe I stop here so I say a little bit. Identification with your mind, he starts, which is the greatest obstacle to experience this reality meaning enlightenment, or I like to call the enlightened ones great souls. The identification with mind is called normal because everybody is identified with the mind, and the constant thinking that is produced about just everything you lay your eyes on. And then thinking and believe is a key, I feel, because thoughts in itself, past and future and past and future, and then if you don't believe all that stuff that comes in your mind, then it's just like the clouds passing, coming and going. But we don't, and most people are not even aware that there is an incessant stream of thoughts that says this and that, depending maybe on an experience. You have a good one, then you have a good story. You have a bad experience, and you have a bad story. Well, be aware that a good story is better than a bad one, but it's equally false. It's equally false, equally not true. And if you can step out, first, of course, you have to be aware, otherwise, you can step out of what? The saying goes, if you are in a prison, you cannot let yourself out of a prison unless you know you're in one. That makes sense. And if you don't understand that you are in in the prison of your mind, if that is not even part of your perception, part of your reality, then you can't let yourself out because you're not aware you're in something. And and when that takes place, that you are becoming aware of that your mind is these stories, um, another faculty arises: awareness. You become aware that you are the observer, not the observed. And when you start to cultivate that observer, you might find that there is a real possibility to be free, not later, but now. You'll be free of the of the thinking. A lot of people say, "I think," and it's not true. They they wouldn't say, "I digest my food," or they wouldn't say, "I pump my blood," but they say, "I think," but it is equally not true, because they don't think they're being thought. Nobody would choose suffering if they have a choice. Most, well, a lot of people still don't even realize that suffering is created in your thoughts, in your perception of what is. It's not the situation what makes you unhappy, but what you think about the situation. The situation is always neutral, it is. But you're thinking, Shakespeare, there is no good, there is no bad, but thinking makes it so. I didn't read this off of Shakespeare's pages, so I might somewhat freely quote him there. But that is it. There is no good, there is no bad, but thinking makes it so. And when you perceive something as good or bad, then it is not the actual situation. It is your thoughts. Now, if you would switch them off, Byron Katie likes to say in her what she calls the work, is this true? That's the first question in what she calls the work. Your thought is, you identify your thought, and then you question your thoughts to cut the to cut the belief. You can say anything and question it. As a matter of fact, that is encouraged. But that is it. When you think this is beautiful or horrible, you can ask, this is horrible, is that true? And if you look close, you may or may find it true or not true, but that's the thing. The thoughts you have about. Anyway, I want to move on a little. Eckhart calls this: the incessant mental noise prevents you from finding the realm of inner stillness. Inner stillness is an incredible experience, and you cannot even call it experience. When you're truly still, then you're just still. Descartes, when he says, I think, therefore I am, he um, he made that statement, and Eckhart quotes him. I think, therefore I am. He equates thinking with being, but being is actually a different, on a deeper level, a you be, and and that is, you provide with that beingness a space for existence to exist. You have to be first, and then thinking happens in most cases very unobserved, as we had earlier. He says enlightenment is a state of wholeness, of being at one and therefore at peace. Enlightenment, you could almost describe it as the absentee of thought. And when you need to think, it actually is very powerful, available. He also refers to thinking as an enslavement, and the increasingly thinking, the enslavement comes when you believe every single thought that comes through your mind. Who said that a unquestioned mind is not worth having? A questioned mind is a sane mind. An unquestioned mind produces a lot of garbage. I've met so many people, and on the social media too. I see them on YouTube say something like it is true, like it's a truth what they're saying, and they might even believe it themselves. It sure looks like it, but it is in many cases so absurd and questionable, but people like to make statements and as if they were true. That happens to you too. Your own mind makes statements and you believe it. Then you might believe a total illusion. You may live all your life and another lifetime in total illusion, and that is what the power of now actually refers to, is to step out of this constant illusory you start seeing the beauty around you, and you might even listen to some of the folks for the first time around you, what they really say. But this, for a lot of people, it does not happen in an instant like it happened for Eckhart. You can find out more about him and his awakening, or like it happened for Buddha or for Byron Katie, or for Moji, or just to name a few. And please forgive me for all the ones that I forget to mention here. For a lot of us, it happens gradually. I'm with this since so many years, and really just again recently I got another push where it becomes such a necessity for me to open my eyes. There is somewhere the saying, eyes long shut. You know, it is for a lot of us a gradual process that we cultivate the field. We can't make anything grow, but we can cultivate the field. And our minds, ourselves, we can cultivate that field. Ramakrishna has a beautiful metaphor or for it, is that it compares you to a raft. You can put up the sail. In other words, you can prepare your boat for sailing, but you cannot be the wind. That is grace. Grace is the wind that blows in your sail. But I go even today further, when alone the fact that you are putting up the sail is a wonderful thing. Already grace is with you when you're putting up the sail. Anyway, I might come to an end for right now. I think I've been on the live YouTube for 23 or 25 minutes. I have this digital clock up there telling me. In the book I'm reading is The Power of Now. And the comments and the references are I'm making to it. This is the route here through. I just like to call it teaching, but it is a teaching that I offer. And if you're interested or find it good to spend some time, please. I'm available also on Tuesday, and it's 3 on Zoom. Find the link in the where it says more underneath there. Click on it, and on Tuesday at 3, just join me on Zoom. Zoom gives me free time, and I use it this way. I will also attempt to read The Power of Now here on a regular basis, and check back with me, subscribe and like. I forget to say all these things on a regular basis too, but that seems to be important. Consciousness likes to share itself. That I noticed in my life. As soon as somebody comes across who has the slightest openness for for what I call consciousness, then it starts to become active. And and I lately have I'm close of completing some studying with Eckhart, more focused on, Eckhart calls it the teacher of presence, to become active in the field. I figure it's time. Well, I don't know who figured it's time, but it's time. and and here I am. Um, and thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe so you won't miss a video. And namaste, which means, in case this is not your terminology, I recognize the light in you. Namaste, and see you next time. Bye bye. Now if I find the off button, then I can switch the video off. I try again. Bye bye.